I've got piles of collage papers here, there, everywhere. So one day I was sorting through them, getting rid of some and putting things that caught my interest aside. And something started to emerge. Some of the papers looked good together. And I thought maybe I could take them and assemble them in a piece. So here are some of the collage papers. Now, in of themselves, they are insubstantial. They're tiny. They may not be enough to go on a page. But when I started grouping them together, seeing what the possibilities were, I thought, hmm, can I take these random pieces and put them into a cohesive project? So as I'm pulling, now I'm grabbing things that are all on my desk, all within arm's length. So the challenge here is to make these collage papers work together on a cohesive spread. So let's get started. So when you're starting with all these pieces, you have to play with it. You have to addition the various pieces. And for me, part of the challenge here is also doing mostly collage. Very little paint is going to be used in this project, which is typically not how I roll. So I spent a lot of time playing with these various pieces, moving them around and seeing. And then at some point, you just have to go for it. Make that first rip and try it out. You never quite know where the page is going to lead, but that's part of the fun of art journaling, solving the problem that's presented. Which way do you want this? So I spent a lot of time both on camera, which I'm showing you and speeding up here, and off camera playing with these elements, moving them, this way and that way, and seeing what I liked. Now, truth be told, there is no right or wrong, and you have to simply trust your instincts. And at some point, you need to stop moving things around and commit. And that's a little scary. But even if worst case scenario, it turns out horrible, it's just paper and maybe paint. So as I'm going through this, I am altering what's in my head. I'm just kind of putting it down. Now this is scrapbook paper. It was, I think that 8 by 8 inch by 8 inch scrapbook paper, and I have it. And while I've loved the colors, every time I've grabbed it, I didn't know what to do with it until today when I thought, oh, this actually can go together. And let's see what I can use. I have more of it, so I'm anxious to see. I like ripped edges instead of straight ones, so that's what you see me doing here. I love how that frond, which I stenciled from a cut stencil that I had, how it looks with that, goldish color. So now I am going to commit. I'm going to use gel medium because this is scrapbook paper and it's a little thicker, and I find I have better results with the gel medium. And I'm going to start gluing it down. I start with what I know for sure. And when you have things and they're layered, you want to glue down the bottom layer first. So sometimes that's a little difficult to kind of figure it out. And, so take a picture of your layout and where you finally get it and you like it. And you can always refer to the picture, and that will guide you so you can remember where it's going to go. And if you change it up once you finally get to gluing it down, that's okay too. And remember, these layers are simply the first layers. And sometimes you need to flip it over and decide. Right there, I changed my mind. That frond is navy with some yellow oxide script stamping on it that matches this piece of collage paper. Random small piece of scrap paper that I loved, which is why I never threw it out. But the goal is to use it, not store it. So I'm just making sure that everything is glued down, and then I'm keep auditioning my focal image there. I love the addition of this music paper. This is music paper that I got at the thrift store. It's old. It's, aged, and it's perfectly lovely as a collage paper. This is drywall mesh that I have used as a stencil, and it's navy colored. So I'm thinking I can use it to add some detail. Now, the benefit of using collage papers is they have all sorts of patterns and script and music notes and detail that's there. So you're not having to drag out all the stamps and stencils. We can add to it, and we are going to, but there is a richness of using these collage papers because each one is adding some element to your background. So this is something that using collage papers is something I'm going to use a little bit more. Now I had a bit of white space there, so I chose to grab my yellow oxide and brown and some gesso, and I'm just filling in those gaps, making this all these diverse collage papers join in some way. And using gesso and a little bit of paint is the way that I'm going to attempt to do that. Remember, this is simply the background. And right now, it does look like a bit of a hot mess. All these random pieces of paper. But by adding that color, I hope you can see, as I did, it's knocking back some of that pattern and making everything work a little bit better. And there's my focal image between the frond and the owl. And that owl came from the Cosmos stamp period scrapbook pad. At this point, I'm going to admit I am not sure where I'm going or how I'm going to get there. But you have to trust your instincts. Now I've added some brown there, and then I decided I just want to darken the brown of the log that the owl is standing on. And then I decided to use the yellow oxide to make his eyes a little more yellow. See how they pop with the yellow oxide that's in the background? This is starting to work together. Remember, we can overpaint. Now here, some of this paint that I put on was a little thick, so I'm just using a baby wipe to knock it back a little bit more. Now the frond seemed a little bit tall, and I thought, what if I cut it apart? I can always glue it back together. If I put this way, again, here I'm deviating from my initial plan, but go with that. As the page evolves, you may need to alter the plan, pivot, so to speak. Put it their way, and then when I put it there, it says, oh, I like that. And then I put the drywall mesh, I kind of cut it so I could get a curve. I like that navy in there. And now the background is really, really quite interesting. I'm liking this. So commit and gluing it down. And I know there will be finishing stages. There's going to be shading that I'm going to do that's going to make it all work together. So there, I'm just putting that. Oh, and then I realize I've got two sides to this owl. It's a double-sided. Which one am I going to go with? Oh, decided to go with my original thought. Then I wanted to add another element that was cohesive to the background. So I grabbed this stencil and I'm stenciling on in three different places, just a little bit more. It's making this vintage. It's kind of going over the edges of where one collage paper meets another collage paper, so you don't see the harsh lines. And then I'm just adding to it. I didn't quite do enough. I'm liking the look. You know, you start off and you're a little timid about what you do, and then if you like it, you can always go back and add more. So that just added an interesting element. And again, it's making everything more cohesive, making all those background collage pieces work together even more because now this is tying it together. Then I decided to add some black stamping. I'm not sure that this added a whole lot in hindsight as I'm watching the video. That one I didn't like right above his head. It looked kind of funny. This would have been better off if I had put it before I put the owl down, before I glued the frond down, but I didn't know then. So I added a little bit, but I would have skipped this step if I was doing it over. Then to kind of knock that back, I just added some stamping next to it. And this I liked a lot more. Adding that little bit of script in there with black just seemed to be the right step. Then I looked to the side and I had another frond in this yellow red oxide color with the script stamp in navy. And when I put it there, the pages seemed to come alive. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to put it there. Wasn't part of the original plan. Wasn't part of anything that I had pulled or kind of had sorted and thought could go together. But still within arm's reach on my desk. And I just think it just added so much to it. You needed some a little more contrast there. I kind of cut it so that I could bend the frond a little bit. Then I had this butterfly. This is just rice paper. It was a rice paper tidbit that I had used previous, but I thought I could use the butterfly. Now the butterfly is pretty pale compared to the background, and I was kind of concerned that it's just going to disappear. But, you know, I'm cutting it out, and I can always decide to not put it. Undecided, I just table that decision and decide to do some shading. So I'm going to edge the page. This is part of the finishing process, and it really makes a difference. If you're not liking how something's standing out, if you're unhappy, you're not sure, shading may be the answer. Edging the page that frames it automatically, it looks better. And then I'm using the same shading technique and shading on the fronds here. That's just deepening it. It's making them pop. It's just adding so much interest to my focal image, which here the focal image is the owl, the navy frond, and the yellow red oxide frond. And then I'm shading the owl. Again, this is just making it stand out from the background. I'm adding a little bit of black to tweak those colors, to make them bolder. It's not doing much, but it does make a difference. Then I have these sentiments that I got from the dollar store years and years ago. I pulled out a piece that's got that same teal that's in the background. I'm seeing if the butterfly and that sentiment are going to work on there. I like how that kind of sets it off. And I'm also covering up, there's a bit of a glitch on that mesh, the drywall mesh, and that just kind of covered up a mistake. And then I'm just using my gel medium to glue that down. So what's on your desk? What's in your piles of little bits that you just can't get rid of? Put them on your desk. See if any of them go together. Pull them together and then make them work. Here I gave that butterfly a wash of yellow oxide. I go in and add some orange just to make it tie in a little bit better with the background. Didn't want it to be front and center. Adding a little bit of that red oxide into the background. Now that I put that one frond in the middle. So this background turned out to be absolutely lovely. It's rich, it's dark, it's vintage, it's grunge. I absolutely love how this evolved. And that's what can happen for you too, but you have to take the chance. I decided to splatter it with gold, because who doesn't like bling? That kind of got too globby there, so I'm wiping it off. I can do that because everything underneath it is permanent. Splatter with gold. And then give that a dry. And then I grabbed my angle brush and I'm going to shade around the blue frond. I just wanted it to stand out, but here I'm going on the background, not on the frond. On the middle frond, I shaded on the printable, on the image, but here I'm going on the outside. And then I grabbed my fine line applicator with gold and outlined those fronds. I also did some scribble writing, but I lost that footage. And here's the finished page. Look at all those wonderful details from all those varied scrap collage pieces. So what's on your desk? Can you turn it in to a piece you're going to love? Until next time, go get creative.